You're in a hurry right now. Maybe not physically, but somewhere in the background, there's a low-grade urgency that doesn't switch off. The sense that you should be further along, that something is falling behind, that if you just moved a little faster, answered a few more emails, made a few more decisions, got through a few more things on the list, you'd finally be okay. You won't. You know you won't. You felt this way at every level of productivity you've ever reached. The urgency isn't a response to circumstances, it's become a default state. We live inside a story about speed. The faster you respond, the more you're on top of it. The earlier you wake up, the more serious you are. The busier you are, the more valuable you must be. Urgency is proof of importance. Rushing is proof you care, and is making us worse at almost everything. Not slower, worse. More errors, shallower thinking, decisions made from pressure rather than clarity. Relationships that get the leftover version of you, the version that's already half thinking about the next thing. The samurai understood something about this that the modern world has forgotten entirely. And the understanding didn't come from philosophy, it came from survival. Miyamoto Musashi fought over 60 duels in his lifetime. He never lost. Not once. Not a single defeat across decades of combat against men who had trained their entire lives to kill him. When historians and martial scholars study his record, they look for the common thread. Better technique? Stronger body? Superior weapons? None of the above. What Musashi himself identified in his own writing in the Book of Five Rings was timing. Not speed, timing. The distinction sounds small, but it's not. Speed is how fast you move. Timing is knowing when to move. A man who moves fast at the wrong moment loses. A man who moves deliberately at the right moment wins every time. Musashi built his entire philosophy of combat and eventually of life around this single principle. He called it Ma. Ma is a Japanese concept without a direct English translation. The closest version is interval, but that doesn't quite capture it. Ma is the purposeful pause, the conscious gap between stimulus and response, the space you choose to inhabit before you act. In swordsmanship, Ma was the distance between two opponents, the space managed with precision because closing it at the wrong moment was fatal. Move too soon and your opponent reads you. Move too late and he's already inside your guard. The master swordsman didn't eliminate Ma, he used it. And Musashi's insight, the one that made him unbeatable, was that this principle extended far beyond the battlefield. Every conversation has Ma. The pause before you respond to something that angered you. Every decision has Ma. The gap between the impulse and the choice. Every relationship has Ma. The moment of stillness before you say the thing you can't unsay. But here's what most people get completely wrong about this. Ma is not hesitation. It is not weakness. It is not being slow. Hesitation comes from fear, from not knowing what to do, from hoping the moment will resolve itself without you having to act. Ma is the opposite. Ma is presence. It is the warrior who has so thoroughly prepared that he can afford to wait for the right moment, because he is not afraid of the wrong one. The stillness is not emptiness, it is readiness. Musashi trained relentlessly. His preparation was extreme by any standard. He meditated, he practiced, he studied not just swordsmanship, but painting, calligraphy, strategy, disciplines that had nothing to do with combat because he understood that mastery in one domain sharpens perception in all of them. He could afford to be unhurried because he had done the work that made urgency unnecessary. That is the part the modern productivity world inverts completely. We rush because we feel unprepared, and we feel unprepared because we never have enough time to do anything properly because we're always rushing. Musashi would find this deeply unimpressive. But the solution isn't what you might think it is. It's not about doing less. It's about something more specific than that. In the Book of Five Rings, Musashi writes about what he calls the rhythm of things. Every situation has a natural tempo. Combat has one, negotiation has one, creative work has one. And the master, in any domain, learns to read that tempo rather than impose his own urgency onto it. The man who rushes is not setting the pace, he is reacting to a pace set by anxiety, by expectation, by the accumulated pressure of everything that hasn't been done yet. He is not directing the fight, he is being directed by it. The samurai who held Ma was the one controlling the engagement, not because he was faster, but because he refused to be hurried. Think about the best decisions you've ever made, the clearest conversations, the work you're most proud of. Almost none of it happened in a rush. Almost all of it came from a moment when you had enough space, even just a few seconds, to meet the situation from a position of choice rather than reaction. That space is Ma, and you can practice it today. Before the practice, if today's video has given you something worth sitting with, I put together a free 7-day email series called the 7-Day Epic Reset. One philosopher, one practice, one shift per day, delivered to your inbox for free. The link is in the description. It's called the 7-Day Epic Reset. Take a look when you're done here. Here's how you build Ma deliberately, not as a philosophy exercise, as a daily discipline. Choose one type of interaction where you consistently feel rushed, where you respond before you've had a moment to think. For most people, it's email. For others, it's conversation. For some, it's decisions under pressure. For the next 7 days in that one context, pause before you respond. Not dramatically, not visibly, just one breath. 2 seconds of Ma in between the stimulus and your reaction. That's it. One breath, one context, 7 days. What you're building is not slowness, you're building the gap. The space between what happens to you and what you choose to do about it. Musashi spent decades building that gap. You're starting with 2 seconds. 2 seconds, consistently practiced, changes more than you think. Because inside that gap lives every better version of a decision you've ever regretted making too fast. The samurai didn't rush because he understood something we've lost entirely in the noise of modern life. Speed without precision is inefficiency. It's just chaos with better branding. The next time the urgency arrives, the low-grade pressure that says move faster, do more, respond now, you have a different option. One breath, one question. Is this the right moment? Not, am I ready? Not, will this be perfect? Just, is this the right moment to move? Sometimes the answer is yes. Move fully, decisively, without hesitation. And sometimes the answer is not yet. And holding that calmly without apology is one of the most powerful things a person can do. That is Ma. That is what the samurai knew. Walk the path with intention, not someday, today.